Hello and welcome back. This morning we're going to do a video for the gold and silver subscribers for Workshop Software. And the subject of today's video is going to be the booking diary. So if we get started on that right away, there are different formats for looking at your booking diary itself, right? In this particular format, which we've chosen here, we have a workshop where we've got 4 mechanics. And what we can do is we can see the job and time allocation for mechanics on this particular window. And if we were to do a booking, we would also see that there was an unallocated booking for a mechanic. That is one format. All right. Another format that you can use for the booking diary is as follows. If we go into the booking settings under company settings, under settings, and we go show all shop for month. Now, this particular view format is going to give us the following result. If we look at it, we now have one big circle for the whole of the activities of the workshop. And as as bookings are made and jobs are assigned to mechanics or jobs are assigned, then what happens is the circle tends to fill up. This particular view format may be more maybe more practicality to a smaller workshop where there's only perhaps one mechanic. An owner-operated shop, because that way you can just see how much work you have on for any given day. All right. The difference between this format and the original format, which I showed you, is that if there are unallocated bookings, you cannot see them in this particular format. You'll have to click onto the day itself, right, and see exactly what the story is. So if I come into this day, I have my 4 mechanics here, but I have no particular jobs assigned to any of them, and so I don't see anything at all. Navigating around the booking calendar in the booking diary is as follows. You can actually look at the day, which is today, or you can come over here and look for a particular day, or you can come to a week, or you can go to a month. And you also have the choice of looking at it in calendar format or in list format. All right, list format would give you all the jobs that were on for that particular period of time that you've chosen. All right, I'm going to swap back over to calendar for a moment and come back into month. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the company settings and change the format back to showing all of my mechanics separately. I tend to find this as being possibly a little bit more useful insofar as it allows me to get a much quicker view of exactly what is going on in terms of the activities of the workshop. So those are the formats that you can actually use when you're actually dealing with your booking diary. Hold on a sec, I'm going to save that. All right. Now, navigating to create a booking, right? You have a couple of different choices in Workshop software. The primary one that I tend to recommend for most people is this particular option up here where the plus sign is, right? And you can come in and do a booking here. Or you can go over to the customer table and do a booking from there by simply clicking on the booking diary, the green calendar. Or you can come into a vehicle and you can also do a booking for a particular vehicle as well. So if we go back into this button over here, your choices when you're making a booking are you are going to either choose from an existing customer. So if I come in here and choose a customer here, I have a customer in the system already and I can do a booking by simply clicking on their name. Or you can also add a brand new customer. And in order to do that, you would click on the plus sign here, all right? And generally, we would tend to say that you only need to put in the person's first name and last name and a contact number so that you can get in touch with them. So if I come in here and I go Alan and go Jones and perhaps put in a mobile telephone number, there I have it. I now have that information saved and I have a customer for the booking diary. So the rest of the information, as mentioned in an earlier video concerning customers, can all be filled in when you have the time. All right. This particular format of setting up a new customer is very advantageous if you're taking the booking over the phone and you're running a very busy workshop or you're at the front desk and you have people coming in and out of the workshop all the time. Sometimes it's easier to just grab first name, last name, and a contact number. All right. So if I save that, I now have a brand new customer. Now, we cannot do a booking for a customer. We need to do it for their vehicle. So I'm going to come in here, and once again, because it's a brand new customer, I'm going to add a vehicle. So I come in here and go. The only required field when setting up a vehicle for a booking or for setting up a vehicle period, right, is that you need to have a rego number. All right, so if I come in here and save that, okay, I now have all the fundamental information I need for the booking: customer, vehicle, and I'm looking at doing this particular booking today, right? Or I can choose any date that I want. Let's say that we do it on Friday, the 18th. Okay, I can change that, and you'll see that it's updated the booking date. In here, I have a default hour of labor. In this particular instance, it's repair over service. All right, repair simply because that may be the most type of work that you commonly do in the workshop. And you have a choice of actually putting a description in here, and we can go labor to repair headlights, for example, and I can actually copy that and put it in here as well. So if I come in here, copy that, paste that in there. There we have it. And at the same time, what I can also do is I can come in here and start to put in job notes for the mechanic to read. So if I came in here and, for example, wrote in check electrical system, there we have it. So now I have a template, or I have some brief job card notes, right? And what I can do is now save that booking. All right. What I would probably also recommend is that when you're doing a booking in the booking diary, if you know that a particular job is going to take a specific amount of time, or it's longer than an hour, for example, which is the default amount of time you get for a job, you can come in here and, for example, put in an hour and a half. Okay, and save that. And now if we were to go back to the booking diary, what we will see will be that we have an unassigned booking on Friday, the 18th of June. And in order to assign that to a mechanic, what I would simply do is come in here, click on that. And as we can see, you can hover over the job and it says the customer is Alan Jones. It's labor to repair the headlights. We've allocated an hour for that. Okay, so if I come in there, I did change that. So if I come in here and change that over to 1.5 hours, and I pick a mechanic, and there we have it. Using the update of event time window, right, you will actually need to turn around and, first of all, assign a particular mechanic to the job, and also assign when that job should start, right? And then what we would do is go update that information. All right, as you can see, once again, the event time has been saved. And if I were to go back to the booking diary now, okay, what we will see is that on the 18th, right, that has been assigned to Harry Newbold. Theoretically, he is going to work on that job for an hour and a half, and he should actually start the job at 9 o'clock, right? At the same time, I also have the choice if I want to. For example, if Harry doesn't show up on Friday for whatever reason, I can turn around and assign that to a separate mechanic or a different mechanic. And as you can see, that every time I change the mechanic that I'm assigning the job to, all right, the color of the job actually changes, all right? So its color is specified for each mechanic. And so if I save that and just come back into the booking diary, look at it for a month, what we will see is that's now been assigned to Mike the Sparky. He's our auto electrician. And as you can see, the color's been changed for that. So that is one thing. Now, it also should be noted that while a job has been set up in the calendar, all right, it will not necessarily show in the job center, okay? And the simple reason for that is that we haven't actually started that job yet, okay? So if we go back into the booking diary for a moment, and there's a very, very good reason for that. The job center is really to show you the actual activities of the workshop, whereas the booking diary is an indicative guide of exactly how much activity is involved in the workshop at the moment. Okay, so as we can see, we've got lots of time for all of our mechanics, right? The only one that's got any work assigned to them at this point in time is Mike the Sparky. All right. As you as you take bookings and add bookings to the diary, then and you assign those to mechanics, then all of their days will actually start to fill up in color, and it becomes a very good indicative guide when you're taking another booking on the phone or over the counter. You can see how much time you actually have available to you based on which mechanics have been assigned which jobs. All right, so to move the process onwards, right, if the customer does actually show up and they've come in on, and it's Friday morning, for example, the 18th, right, what we can do is we can come in here and start the job. If we start the job, that will then do the following. If you watch the top of the page, ask me if I'm sure that I want to start, and I go, yes, I am, right? You can see that now what it's done is it's created an invoice, okay? So the invoice process is automatic, all right? The minute you start a job, it just goes directly into the invoice. And it also assigns that job a particular job number. And here we have it. We can see that. And at this point in time, now that we've created the job, we can actually print out the job card for the mechanic to actually work with. So here we have it. There's the customer, Alan Jones. There's the vehicle registration, labor to repair the headlights. There are the notes. Please check the electrical system, check operation of all lights. And the mechanic can then also put in any comments that he has relative to the job that he's doing, right? And also he can start to put in more information on the vehicle, so you start to build up quality vehicle history. All right, so there's your job card. Now, if we look at this, what we often have is a scenario where you may have two mechanics who are going to do particular work on one particular job. And what you always want to do as much as possible in order to track your profitability is to assign the time that a mechanic does work on a job. So if the mechanics are using the Workshop Software mobile app, then they can actually do automatically what I'm about to do manually. So I'm going to enter the mechanic times here. What I have is I pick my mechanic, and it's, I believe it was Mike the Sparky is doing the work on this. Let's say that he's actually started at 9:10. All right, and he's going to work on that job for perhaps, let's say, until about 10:45. All right. So if the boys were if they were logging on and logging off with the mobile app, then they would actually automatically do this. This information would automatically be populated here, right? In the occurrence where you might have two mechanics working on a particular job, you can actually manually also come in here and choose another mechanic. So if I go Harry Newbold, for example, all right, and Harry's doing a little bit of work on this particular job as well. He actually came in and started working at about 10 o'clock. And let's say that he worked on the job actually until 10:45 as well. And like I said, if he had clocked on to the job itself using the mobile app or scanning the barcode on the job card, then this information would be populated automatically. So in order to save this information, I'll just click on the Save button here. When I see the labor items have been saved at the top of the screen, I can now go back to the invoice. All right, and the invoice is now telling us that a sum total of 2.33 hours has been worked on this job. All right, and now the invoice can be updated automatically. So if I come in here and go mark that up perhaps to 2.33 hours, or possibly even mark it up to 2.5 hours and save that information. All right. Every once in a while, what I'd also like to do is I'm going to open up a new job card. So I've saved that one. I'm going to come back in, set up a new booking. Here we go. I'm going to do it for an existing customer. There we have it. Click on the vehicle. There it is. All right. And now you can see that when you're doing a booking, all right, let's move the booking over to, for example, the 17th. All right. That's fine. I'm going to cancel this for a moment. Now, if I know that this job, for example, is going to be worked on for over a period of several days, I can actually come into the event times here, all right, and say we're going to work on the job for perhaps 4 hours here, all right. Harry Newbold is going to work on that one, and he's going to start basically on the 17th, probably at about, based on his calendar, probably at about 10 o'clock in the morning, okay, and I can update that. Okay. Then also, I can also turn around and go, I'm going to create another scenario because that was on the 17th. And if I know that he's going to work on it on the next day as well, I can come in here and go, he's going to work on that approximately 4 hours. And again, it's going to be Harry or whichever mechanic I choose. All right. And he's going to start on that basically when he starts in the morning. So I come in here and go 9 o'clock. All right. And there I've created that. Okay. So the booking here is still telling us that it's 1 hour. Right. However, if we go into the booking diary now, what we will see is that there's Harry's job that was started on the 17th, and he's worked on that for 4 hours. And also, he's been assigned to it for another 4 hours on the 18th. Okay, so you have the flexibility from within the booking itself to turn around if you know that the job is going to take longer than 1 day, to assign that to a specific mechanic, and you can change the mechanics around. And also, I've just shown you how you can actually assign 2 mechanics to one specific job. That brings us to the end of how the booking diary works. Thank you very much for watching this video, and please stay tuned for our next video.